Now we're all here, you're joining me in Hampshire, England, UK on a glorious morning. And I am a stone's throw from Old Winchester Hill, and that is an ancient hill fort. It's a scheduled monument and it allegedly dates back to 3,500 to 4,500 BC. So we're going back in time today, and on the top of it there are 3 barrows which you can see from here, and I'm going to pan the camera around and block the sun out behind my head so you can see silhouetted up against the skyline. You should be able to see the 3 barrows on top of the hill, if I can point roughly to where they are. And these are ancient burial mounds, and they probably had some other purposes at the time, but it's all speculation. But I'm here next to the car park, and I've come to this side because we're going to go down into the valley, because I heard a rumour when I was young that there's an ancient well down there. But I've got to stick to the footpaths because in the 40s this place was used as a mortar range, and allegedly there's still some unexploded bombs in amongst the trees and the woods. So I don't particularly want to stand on one of them and find out which religion got it right. And I'm sure there's some people out there wish I would stand on one, but let's hope that I don't, because I won't be able to make any more of these videos for you. So let's have a womble down there now and see what we can find. So I'm going to walk up this way, dive through the gate, and let's enjoy. Coming through the gate there, I've just noticed to one side of me there's a common gorse, and in December and January and February, that time of year, they put out this lovely little yellow flower. And what I like about it is they taste wonderful. So whenever I'm passing one or out for a walk this time of year, always pinch myself a flower or two and have a little nibble. So this is the common gorse plant, really prickly, and you can see, but they put out these lovely little yellow flowers, and it tastes exactly what you think a flower would taste like, and it's really nice. I can't help but pick a couple of them. You only need 2 or 3, but you'll enjoy them if you try them. They're very nice. And also, noticing amongst the gorse some rose hips, and if you happen to be struggling for a bit of vitamin C and you need some a bit quick, that's a great source, is rose hips. So you'd pick them and work with them to get the vitamin C out if you're a bit sick. So having knowledge of these things as you go for these walks can be very useful. And we're heading on down into the valley there. It's there's a footpath that runs through them woods, so we're going to go down into them woods now, and if by magic we'll be there. Right, down in the bottom here amongst the woods, look how cute that is. Children have put a little den around the base of that yew tree. It's certainly a magical place. As I walk through, this is obviously one of the safe areas that's been cleared of any ordnance, because I wouldn't be allowed in here otherwise. But look at the majesty of this tree here. Look at that. That's a beech tree, and it's massive. Wonderful. Yeah, so as I come into the woods here, I'm half keeping an eye out, where would this well be? I don't know where it's likely to be. So, but I'll keep looking, and as soon as I see something interesting, I'm sure to point it out. I found myself underneath all these yew trees, and it suddenly dawned on me I'm at the base of an ancient hill fort, and of course there's going to be yew trees here because the people who built the fort would have planted the yew trees. They're a very magical tree, and they can lay dormant for hundreds of years and suddenly sprout into life again. They have this quality about them, and they were utilised for the longbow. And if you've seen my previous videos, I mentioned this before, that the trunk is good for compression and expansion at a certain point, and if you get the half and half going down the length of the bow, it makes a very strong bow indeed. So they would have planted the yew trees to utilise for the bows and arrows they used of their time, I'm sure. But they have a majestic majesty on the landscape. There's something magical about them, and when you're under them you'll know what I mean. It certainly gives that feeling of reincarnation. I've been here before. I could have been one of the people who planted these trees in a previous existence, if you believe that sort of thing. But there's so much wildlife, and the other problem I've got here, oh God, that's steep. The other problem I've got here is obviously we're on chalk, and we've had freezing temperatures, and the weather brings out the water in the chalk and it makes it very slippery. So, well, that was close. So I don't want to slip. Stop laughing. Hope you enjoyed that. Well, I've made it to the bottom, safe and sound, you'll be pleased to hear. And this is where I was suspecting the well to be, about here. You look at the lay of the land, you don't want to, if you was on the top of the hill, you won't want to go too far for the water. I suspect they probably should have put a well on the top, because they used to dig some amazing wells. Blimey. Oh, so I've come out into this open area and I thought it was going to be here, I must admit, I must confess that. But doesn't it look glorious with the cover in the snow? So and I think this is one of the safe areas, because I haven't jumped over any fences or anything like that, so I'm sure this place has been cleared. But hopefully, if it isn't, let's hope the memory card will survive and you'll see my demise. But yeah, let's have a look. I can't see anything slightly even resembles a well. I'll keep looking though, I'll keep looking. Let me just show you. I'm going to just have a look there. I've got a feeling there's a well there. I think it would be in there. So let's have a look. Hang on, I can see something. I can see something. Oh, here we go. What is that? What is that? Let me spin the camera around, see if you can see it. Oh, that looks like I've found something. Look, can you see under the tree up there? There's something around. I'm not convinced it's a well though, but it's definitely something noteworthy. Okay, the well, I think it's not, but okay, I'm going to need your help on this one. This is where the internet hive mind will be able to help me. So, the question I've got for you guys out there is, what is that? What is that? Well, it's metal, I can tell you that much. It looks like the top of a tank or something. It's really solid. Let me have a look round. I tell you now, there's going to be people out there who know exactly what that is just by looking at it. Me, haven't got a clue. Oh, what we got over there? Okay, I'll come back to this in a minute. That's right, because if they were using this as a mortar range, perhaps they was using this as target practice. Okay, so we've got... Alright, all you World War II enthusiasts out there, what am I looking at? That's actually close to about ½ an inch thick, that. Really thick metal, dome, studs out the top. What else have I got here? Let's have a look. So, handbrake, definitely wheel and steering. It has steering, and it looks like it has two types of wheels on it. It has a smaller stud. The animal's been scratching at that. And how many? Yeah, tell me what you think that is in the comments, please. I haven't got a clue, but I suspect that the round bit might have been on top of this here. So would the round bit down there have gone on top of this? A gun. Perhaps it was a gun, and they pushed it down the hill so they could have target practice with the mortars, I suspect. But I bet somebody out there knows exactly what that is, make and model, and they've probably got one they can demonstrate to us. Okay. Well, it's not the well, but it's certainly something of interest, isn't it? So, let's see what else we can find. Well, I've made it onto the top of Old Winchester Hill, and as you can see, it's clearly a different day. All the snow's melted, and I thought I'd come back and finish the video, because although I did not find the well, and it wasn't for the want of looking, I got hit with a bout of fatigue that really finished me off, and it took me forever to get back to the car. So I'm back here today, and I wanted to talk about this, which is on top of Old Winchester Hill, and it's a triangulation marker which the Ordnance Survey people use for cartography and mapping the terrain, and they use elevation angles and side angles to know exactly where we are on the world, and that's how we know we are 648 feet above mean sea level right now. And what a place to enjoy the Meon Valley. It's gorgeous, and I'm going to show you a panoramic view of the minute, starting at Old Beacon Hill. And if we look over that way and work our way round, you will see that's Beacon Hill, and as I slowly pan round the Southampton docks, and if you really look closely you'll see the cranes, and coming round you'll see the chimneys of the chemical refinery at Fawley. There used to be a power station there, but it's been knocked down. Carry on round, you will see the Isle of Wight, and if you look really closely you can see the solent between the Isle of Wight, and that's the hills in the background. And as we come round, we're going to pass over Fareham and towards Portsmouth, and we carry on round and we will see Chichester. You can just about make out the spire. Over Portsmouth we can see the Spinnaker Tower. Now Portsmouth's an interesting thing to talk about, because that has so much history attached to it, and you could just about make out the Spinnaker Tower if you know what you're looking for. And at the base of that you've got HMS Warrior, and that was the first steel-hulled warship of its type, and I think that was launched in 1860. And also born in that very city was a man by the name of Isambard Kingdom Brunel, and I think that was 1806. I think 9th of April he was born, and he was an industrialist, you know, famous for the Clifton Suspension Bridge, but he also built a steel-hull boat. It was a double steel-hull boat, and it was called the Great Eastern, and it was a double paddle and also had a corkscrew, and it was a Goliath of its time. And it was used, I think it was launched in 1858, and in 1865 they used that very boat to lay the first transatlantic cable across the pond. And what I found interesting about that is because we're next to Beacon Hill, and that would have been, there is two Beacon Hills, there's one about 20 miles towards Winchester as well, so I'm not sure which one they used, but they would have lit fires on top of these hills back in the day to communicate messages all the way from London down to the south coast to Portsmouth and Southampton. And then it went on, they used them very same hills to use a type of semaphore, so they would have these grids of 6 paddles which let light through, and they used a cipher to tell what messages were being sent through a type of Morse code, I suppose. When there was that paddle open, it was an A, and that was you get the meaning, the point. But that didn't last long, because obviously you got weather conditions. So once we got the telephone, then that was a game changer, wasn't it? And when you think the first transatlantic cable was only 150 years ago to what we do now, we can send videos to the remotest parts of the world without a struggle at all. And that ship was the forebearer of all this technology that we're using today to communicate through across the whole world. And we know the length of them cables by the triangulation marker points we have behind me. It's all tied together in this wonderful shared reality we're enjoying. Now you can look down on Portsmouth and just think of the history that is held in that place. And over to the side there we have HMS Mercury, which was a land-based military place which was claimed to have been sunk in the Second World War by the Germans. They didn't realise it wasn't a ship. The old propaganda. It's a laugh, isn't it? But these barrows I'm stood next to, if we have a look at them, they're fantastic. Now to think these could probably be burial chambers is amazing. Although from a distance they look like little bumps on top of a hill. Up close and personal, they're even better. It's amazing. And as I spin round, you can see the ones over my shoulder there. And the whole earthworks, when you do a panoramic and you look round this, there's a ring, an earthwork that goes all the way around here. And they would have really defended this place well back in the day. So, but if we look at this barrow behind me, as you can see, it's quite a hill in its own right, and it's been here for thousands of years. It's incredible, but there's so many earthworks on top of here. As I look round, you can see they've probably been dug into by people wondering if there's any treasures hidden in the old barrows over the years, and so I expect the divots in top are from people seeing if they could rob grave diggers, you know, so to speak. But I doubt there would have been anything of any tremendous value they would have found. I don't think they planted gold or anything like that in there, but fantastic. But as I come up on top of this barrow and look back, as you can see, there's that one, and I don't think that was a barrow at that end because of the way it's shaped. But if I just come up here, you can see there's a big hole there. In fact, let me walk down into that hole and yeah, you'll see what it's like. Let's have a look. All of a sudden there won't be any wind noise at all. There we go. Walking across the top of the barrows in Old Winchester Hill, it certainly gives you a feeling of belonging, a sense of here we are on an ancient scheduled monument which was once a place of great importance, especially in the local area. As you know, you can see so far around it, so if there's any intruders coming, they would have seen from this point. And it must have been a magical place. That's why they chose to bury people on top of these hills as well. And it'd be interesting to see just how many ley lines have touched this place as well at some point. It's a lovely place to visit. Now, it's looked after by Natural England at the minute, and they do a wonderful job because the sheep keep the scrubland down along with the rabbits, and but if there's any gorse gets too much for it, they come cut it down and they burn it to keep the monument looking exactly as it should do. And I think they're doing a fantastic job, so shout out to Natural England for their hard work and all the volunteers who come up here to look after it. If you visit Old Winchester Hill, then be mindful, if you've got a dog, keep it on a lead, because if they're not used to sheep they can scare them, so important. But what a wonderful walk. If you have the energy to get up here, and you can, I suggest visiting it. Now, this is in the Meon Valley. Like I said, it's just breathtaking, and it's important to get out and enjoy your local surroundings. And if you're coming from a long way away, I'd put this on your to-do list along with many other wonderful sites across the UK. It's breathtaking. I don't want to slip. Stop laughing.